Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of my Dungeon Boss PvP series. As you can see from my home screen here, we have hit level 45, so we're going to take another update into our PvP dungeon and switch up our defense a little bit and do some attacks as well. So at first glance, it is worth noting that as of the last couple weeks or so, my current team, while powerful in its own right, has not been doing overly well. So you can see defense rate is 33%, which when you get up to level 70, obviously that's pretty good. But right now it's just not holding its own. And that's likely due to the fact that it's fairly easy to beat if you bring the right heroes. My attacks have been going pretty well, so I'm pretty happy about that. Have only been doing really enough PvP to stay up with guild quests and such like that, so I haven't been focusing a ton on it. You can see I'm in Gladiator 3, which isn't great as far as leagues go, but I'm content with where I'm at right now. So the defense that I've been using is Grognog to slow, and then Koros and Nimriel to clean up, and then just to prolong the fight, bring in Nub Nub for healing. Because of where we're at with levels and hitting level 45, we're reaching a lot of really hardcore players at this point where they're going to beat you no matter what anyways. So having a healer along the way isn't really going to be beneficial if the entire team's going to be dead in the first turn. So I've been seeing some players come in with some really strong legendary teams and just some VIP heroes as well. I've been seeing a bunch of shades coming in, some really souped up shadow blades coming in. And honestly, if they kill Grognog first, then they can use whatever else they have left. I mean, even somebody as simple as Selwyn the Enduring can take out Koros and Nimriel. So the team itself, like I said, is not easy to, or not difficult to beat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch things up a little bit. I'm going to be dumping Nub Nub. And what I said in a couple of videos thus far, once you get to this point, if you want to win PvP, you have to have two things. One, you need ascensions on your heroes, and two, you got to have the runes, because runes are pretty much the meta in this game right now. Above all PvP meta, runes are the focus. So if you don't have good runes, your PvP defense is going to be struggling for it. So fortunately, Kira has an ascension on him, so I definitely want to put him back in the mix. He doesn't have the best runes, and honestly it's tough to get great runes at this level because I've been pouring most of my gems into the ×10 summons rather than crafting runes. I've only crafted probably 2 runes, and both of those were to deal with quests. They ended up being pretty decent, but not legendary. I want to keep the same basic core as far as my team goes. I want to keep Grognog, and I want to keep Koros, because those guys, Grognog has a very specific purpose in that he's going to slow the team down, and Koros is going to be there to do some quite a bit of damage as well. New to the team though, what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to switch and put Grognog last. I'm going to bring in Ponti to the mix. So since the last time I played, I poured a ton of honor into the honor summon to get Ponti, and I pretty much souped him up as hard as I could. Now what I was a little bit disappointed in is I had no evos to send any of these other guys here. So if I'm looking at second ascensions on any of my other heroes, Nimriel doesn't have a second ascension. Actually, no, she does. She has a second ascension, but none of my other really good people have that second ascension. So Nub Nub and Yasmin are healers. They have ascensions, but not that good. Shadowblade's not ascended. Lily's not ascended. So none of the people that are going to deal a ton of damage. And I actually just got Velkin. I checked the runes. I don't have him ascended either. Nothing I can do there. So I figured it'd be best to just keep the strongest people. If you can get Ponti fully ascended at this level, he's going to be an absolute beast mode for you. So I'm only like 1 rune short. I think it's a Crypt Evo for his first ascension, which will give me quite an advantage, because really what you want to do on PvP defense is you want your guys doing their skills every single turn. So if I can get that second ascension on him, that'll definitely help, because it's a high-powered single attack. So it's going to be potent if you do happen to get hit by a Kai team, which in this case here, Kai is going to be a good person to bring against this team. So anybody that's watching, if you come across my team, if you bring in Kai, you could probably do pretty well because you could mitigate a lot of that damage. I'll show you the runes that I have on these guys in just a little bit. Again, they're not the greatest runes, but it's pretty much what I got. So we'll take a look at those before we actually get into our current attacks, just so you can see what sort of defense we're looking at here. So I wish I had better runes for Kira at this point, but I put some of my other better runes. You can see there's the few heroics that I have are distributed across Ponti, Grognog, and Koros. I feel like at this point, because Kira has double yellows, which it's just tough to get a high level attack out of Kira without those extra stars to start with. He's just going to be hard to really get to the point where he can do a ton of damage. I would need to have some pretty serious stuff in both the red and the green. But looking at his runes, I decided to go with a little bit of defense, and I'm still going to level these up. I haven't done that yet, though. I thought maybe if I threw some damage reduction on him, and damage reduction again, at the very least it would keep him alive for a second turn where he can whip out his second attack. So I figured that would be as good a use as any. Now this isn't a very good rune at all, but I really didn't have anything else on there, and the damage reduction will go up a little bit, so I'm okay with that. I didn't really have that many good fire runes, so I just put basically this junk one on him. I don't really have anything else that could be better, except for maybe this battle rune, a 29. It's basically the same thing. So until I find something else, and I only have a few gems, so I didn't want to go into crafting and then run out of gems with tuning. So I just left this as is. The other runes that I have are pretty much on other people that need them right now, so I didn't want to pull those off just yet, because realistically I don't think even with a really good rune here he's going to be killing too many people. He's meant to be more of a disruptor and to kind of scare a few people away. I did get an attack damage, or a attack damage on his nature rune, which is fine, and then extra crit and attack on this water rune. So my major runes have been put on Ponti. If he gets around to attacking, for this level, his attack is over 2,000, which is the highest of anybody that I have right now. So he's going to be the real deal if he gets his attack off. I assume he's going to be one-shotting some people for sure. So we got attack, health, attack, crit, attack, damage, and reduce damage from fire, attack, crit, and health, defense for good measure. So pretty serious stuff here. It's certainly not the highest I've seen. I ran into somebody today before I switched leagues. I can't show it to you anymore, but it was a level 39 that, no jokes aside, had 20 legendary runes. Every single one of his PvP defenders had a legendary rune on it. Mixed between lesser and improved, but every single one was legendary. So it's like, yeah, I'm not going to attack you. And I'm not going to call anybody out like that, but you got a serious player when you see that sort of stuff. And two of their heroes were VIP as well. He had a lead-off shade, which was no joke. And then he had a strong shadow blade as well. So he was going to be killing pretty much anything that moved. But like I said, if you want to pour money into the game, more power to you. I've certainly done my fair share of spending. It's just not going to be with this account. So Grognog, health, defense, damage reduction, defense, skill. Do have a little bit of attack on him. Crit and dodge, and a little bit of attack there. I might ultimately move this one to Kira, but ultimately doesn't really matter too much to me right now. And then attack, damage. So he's pretty well rounded. 1400, 1100, pretty good balance there. And then lastly we have Koros, who's got a couple of heroics on him as well, but he does have a couple of really awful ones in there as well. So skill, defense, skill, kind of mediocre. Bottom of the barrel attack rune, skill, dodge, skill, another very mediocre one. Attack, skill, crit, pretty wide variety there, and then just a bottom of the barrel attack. So he still does pretty well. 1200, 900, he's kind of balanced like Grognog. Certainly nowhere near in the realm of what Ponti is right now. which is why I'm putting him last. I want to hope that Ponti gets his attacks off. So I have been using Ponti in PvP attacks as well. I'm going to be doing that today as well. So let's go ahead and get a couple attacks in here. We're already at 10 minutes. We want to try and keep things manageable. So let's jump into our raids and see if we can keep our percentage up quite a bit here. So overall, all three of these look pretty manageable. We'll leave this one out here to start with. That way if we get a streak, I can milk that one for a few more trophies. So we'll take the middle one first. It's the lowest and easiest one. Should be an easy win here. Really all I got to do is silence Ella and it's all over. So this should be a very easy win for us. I don't really have any runes on Torchy, which is okay, because I've really been only using Torchy for the silence in PvP. So as long as he doesn't get killed on the opening hit, he's sitting pretty good. So this guy's slow, this guy's slow, this guy's slow. So I don't even need Grognog because he's not going to do well against those two guys anyways. So we're going to bring Koros. We're going to bring Ponti. And then for good measure, I think we will bring in Nimriel, who's pretty powerful as well. And she'll one-shot either of those guys, really, if either of them are left. But probably should have did Ponti first just so you could see how awesome he is. But he'll be on cleanup patrol. He's been doing pretty well against tanks and slows. So if you've been doing enough PvP to get by, which is basically what I've been doing, I literally did not spend an ounce of honor, except for my very first Ella summon, way back when I first started this account. I haven't really spent any honor at all until just recently, which as you can imagine, then a lot of my honor went to waste. It got converted into gold because I didn't spend it. Very, very happy that they switched that up, but I lost a lot of honor, and I felt really bad about that because it was such a waste. I don't know why they didn't allow it to carry over sooner. Okay, so Phenol's not even alive for Nimriel to kill, and these guys would be dead on this one. Yep, 4,500 damage on Stonefist, and he's supposed to be a pretty high-powered tank, so I could probably put Ponti as the lead-off attacker, and he's probably going to do some serious damage, provided he doesn't get hit by a silence or something like that. Alright, let's do another couple here. Alright, so this one is definitely a lot tougher now. If it's all undead, maybe I'll throw... Nope, there's no way I'm beating that. All heroics. All heroics and a legendary. Bunch of legendaries and a couple of heroics, so... Yeah, there's not a chance in hell I won't even get a hit off, probably. Champion rune. So, you can tell by the champion rune here, this dude here is a PvP fanatic. So good for you. Good for you, Hysterium. I look forward to seeing you up at the level 70 PvP in the future. Let's pick up Luca Thomas T. So 2 fast heroes. Runes are far more my speed, so I'm not feeling too threatened there. So what we want to do is ultimately I want to keep Torchy in there. Hopefully he doesn't get killed. And then we're going to bring my other... There's no way that I can prevent Grognog or Igorok from getting his hit, so it doesn't matter if I have Grognog or not. So we're just ultimately going to hope that Shadowblade doesn't target Torchy. And if he does, it'll probably be a loss. Grognog will be able to... he'll be able to handle Igorok. That shouldn't be a problem. But I worry about Koros and Ponti. If they don't get killed, they're certainly going to get frozen. And at that point, Brahm's going to be on cleanup duty, and he might... I can tell already their Shadowblade is ascended. So, but he didn't attack Torchy, so this one really is mine for the taking. And he can do that all day. I don't need Torchy anymore at this point. Yep, Perfect scenario. Couldn't have asked for anything better. And that is what happens when you have a awesome Ponte. Kill their 2 big hitters, and then these guys are left over to basically just fend for themselves. So if he keeps playing the dodge patrol, he'll last, but yep, he's got one chance to get through this one. And it was going to be if he could do a triple kill, which he did not. So now he's toast. So the lesson here, get Ponte as soon as you can. Find any way possible to ascend him if you can. Once you get one ascend on him and get a couple base stat increases plus that extra skill, he's going to be pretty awesome for you on offense and defense. And honestly, even in running campaign dungeons, he's going to be extremely helpful as well. Alright, so we got our streak up there, so we could probably go after this one. This one is a low power. I'm wondering if it's some sort of... I've been seeing different kinds of bait teams now. They're still 4-person teams, but I've been seeing people that have like all legendary runes on like Kira, and the rest of the guys are just mediocre, and they want you to attack because it shows a high level but a really low power or something like that, and it's very misleading. Yeah, this guy is not prepared at all. Not in the slightest. Alright, so I'm going to run the same basic principles before, except I'm going to run Grognog first, because I want to make sure I slow his team down. And then we'll go on cleanup duty. So this will be an easy win, and then I can go after that last one with my win streak and see if I can get 4 in a row here. 11, 17, 14. So obviously that's a date. I don't know what Mr. Org here is referencing on that date. Maybe a child was born on that date. I don't know. Always curious about why people choose the names they do. Alright, this one is basically over now. So he would have had to have done something to disrupt the team, which because of his frozen being gone, there's nothing he could do. This be 2-hit kill. Dead. So the Ponte meta is almost like we see with the Koros meta at level 70, where he's just coming in and he mops up everything. Part of the reason is because he is a dark hero, so he has probably the best rune layout out of any of the colors, because you don't have to deal with the yellow and blue runes being absolutely junk as far as getting high attacks. So if you could pile on the purple, red, and green attacks, it's pretty awesome. Alright, I Love Bunny is another weak team. See, this is what I was talking about before, where it's like it's a level 45, but he's got level 40 heroes in there. So at the very least, try and upgrade your heroes to get that. But what I'd be looking for is to see if there's anything odd about these guys here. And actually, it's just a 4-person fast team. So the runes aren't very threatening. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run this one. Even with the Kai damage here, that drenched, I feel like I'm still going to do really well against this one. You can't silence Kai, so bringing Torture along is kind of worthless if you ask me. So what I think I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to play the long game and actually bring a healer along. Seems kind of dumb for most people, but really all I have to do is survive, and I don't think any of these guys are going to kill me in the opening round unless they all pile their attacks onto one person. So I'll do this one here yet before I do that other one, and then we'll be at just over 20-some minutes, so that'll be a good quitting time. And I know some people have requested to see more PvP. Personally, like I said, I don't know how much the PvP really, how much anybody gets out of these. I kind of record them just to show every 5 levels how the meta is changing and how you want to bring in different people. And like I said, obviously at this point, bringing in Ponte has been kind of a game changer for me. But if people want to see more PvP, I could certainly try to record more of it, but I just haven't really felt the need for it. And I know some people would be more interested in seeing the really high-level PvP, and I just don't do a ton of that on my main account outside of what's necessary. So based on feedback in terms of what you'd like for PvP. Anybody that wants to leave comments or send me an email, which is at the start of all of my videos now, feel free to let me know what sort of things you're looking to get out of PvP. If it's a matter of attacking certain teams, I can certainly do things like that. A lot of the highest guilds have spreadsheets and stuff that show what teams are used for which defenses that they come across. But when it comes to the runes, sometimes you might even have the team to beat the team, but if you don't have the runes, you won't. But this one is exactly as how I planned. They all did their attack and nothing happened, and now I can basically just roll through. So first comes Grognog. He might very well kill some people. Even with the reduced damage, killed Shadowblade, took out half of their health as well. Ponty is also drenched. Yep, they're all drenched, so I still expect Ponty to kill all these guys, though. Oh, and Kai just barely survived. We'll do him a solid and just kill him with a basic hit. And down he goes. Alright, so we are 21 minutes, so we'll do one more attack. We'll do that far right, and then we will call it a day. And then we'll let the defense sit for a couple of days, see what sort of attacks we get on there, and see if our team actually holds water. I still imagine that it's going to be a fairly easy team to beat. Anybody that comes in with a reasonably high-powered offense is going to be able to take me down. So, do I need to silence him? That's the big question with Manglejaw. Manglejaw, for those of you that don't know, his first attack has the ability to possibly slow your team down, and basically anybody that's not flying. So that's it's certainly a dangerous thing to watch out for. So I'm gonna definitely silence him, because it's too dangerous to not silence him. So we're gonna do two things. We're going to bring in Torchy, and then because I don't need Grognog, I mean he's great and all, but I don't need him. I'm gonna switch him out and use Kira too, just to throw some extra attacks on Braum, because he's really the most dangerous one here. Because Manglejaw is going to be dead after the first turn, I can guarantee that. And with Ponty, he's going to kill everything else, and what he doesn't kill, Koros will kill. So I'm already basically claiming victory on this one. I know that sounds a bit arrogant. I do tend to get myself in trouble sometimes when I assume victory. I've been caught off guard a few times here or there. A lot of times I see these teams that I've beaten so many times, and then I don't check the runes, and then you find out that somebody did something odd, like they put their hardest hitting attack runes on someone like Kai, and they one-shot guys like Torchy. So he had a pretty good opening attack with Shadowblade. Really, I didn't even care if he killed any of these other guys, because I'm pretty sure Ponty was going to soak damage from Manglejaw, and I know that Shadowblade wasn't going to kill Ponty. So as long as he got his attack off, I felt like that's pretty much going to wipe the team. See how hard-hitting Kira is. That's my real question, because if he can do enough damage, then I'll feel more confident with him on PvP defense, but until he gets his ascension, I just don't think he's going to do much. And then Ponty runs, oh, that shifty little Manglejaw, how about that? And even Shadowblade dodge too. But alright, so Manglejaw is going to get one last chance here. Maybe. See if he dodges again. I forgot how shifty he is too. He doesn't have the shifty trait, but he dodges quite a bit. There's that. Oh, see, that's hardcore, but he's basically dead, so sorry, Diddy Curl, he just didn't quite have enough. So alright, so we're just under 25 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and I will shut this one down, and then when we come back, we will take a look at the PvP defense. So until then, we'll see you again. Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting my channel. If you like this video, please show your continued support by hitting that like button, and be sure to check out both my YouTube channels for new content all the time. And always remember, peace is a lie, there's only passion. We'll see you next time.